Today's episode is brought to you by the book Everyone is a Sinner But Me, available now at Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. Live from Volpus Studios, it's the MCS1 show featuring Caleb Hannah, and now your host, MCS1.
Welcome everyone to another wonderful edition of the MCS1 show. I'm MCS1, once again joined by the amazing Caleb Hannah.
Do what I can.
And today we're going to be talking about something very awesome. We're going to be continuing our wonderful series of
Happy Valley Hate.
Today we're going to be talking about Happy Valley Tinder swiping. Yes. So by now the world kind of knows what Tinder is.
And if they don't, they've clearly been under a rock for a while.
Yeah. Just to refresh a little bit, we'll kind of explain what Tinder is through derogatory means. So first we will go to the amazing Urban Dictionary.
The ultimate source of knowledge.
The ultimate source of knowledge.
As everyone who listens to the show should already know.
Yeah, exactly. So the very, very top definition for Tinder, and this is pretty accurate, dating app. Tinder is McDonald's for sex.
Gross.
Oh, so good.
Wow, we are off to a great start.
McDonald's for sex.
And that's how it is. It really is, it's sad. Moving on, let's go to the second definition. This is a little bit more accurate. A popular dating app for college students used on iPhones and Android, in which you select an individual based on your attractiveness to said individual and an individual brief statement. It's pretty much the most shallow thing in the world.
How touching.
And it says, question, how can I creep on girls on my phone? Answer, Tinder. Before that, it was the Facebook app.
Yeah.
And so that's basically it. And it's just a really shallow app to where you can find dates or whatever.
Well, yeah, I guess. Or just, honestly, it's probably just mostly used for hookups.
It really is. And outside of Happy Valley, it's used for mostly hookups.
Yeah, just finding, used as the McDonald's for sex.
Caleb, you had an interesting point that you mentioned to me before this show.
Oh, yeah. So a really funny, I guess, tweet that I read the other day from this guy, and I forget his name, but if that guy somehow is listening, I would like to give you credit, but I don't remember your name. But anyway, so he's comparing basically Pokemon Go to Tinder, and he says this. So, Pokemon Go is now officially the #1 used app on both Apple and Google Play, just edging out Tinder, which is also an app that you use to swipe to find monsters in your area.
So true. I'm not gonna lie, in Happy Valley, it's used for just primarily dating.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because it's the standard dating app because of all the quote standards in the area.
I love that Tinder became a thing here when it's like people pretend like they're not out having promiscuous sex all the time, but then they're like, oh, but I have a Tinder. It's just for finding dates.
It's just for finding dates, people.
Don't read into it too much.
Well, or read into it too much because they have the brief summaries on there, and they always put things like I'm LDS or not LDS.
Yeah.
Right? Or to prove they're not LDS or Mormon, they always have to have a picture of them with a beer in their hands, or they put loves beer in the description.
Loser.
To prove how edgy they are.
Oh man, so good.
And
good.
It's just ridiculous how big of a deal it is in Happy Valley.
Well, how big of a deal either way of it is. You can't. It's like we can't interact if we're not part of the same group, guys.
Yeah, it's really funny because how big of a deal it is here. My favorite Tinder quote that I've heard from a really dumb girl, by the way. I heard about this through my friends. They were talking to me about this girl, and they said, yeah, she saw this guy, and she's like, oh, I know that guy. I can't figure out where I know him from. And then she was like, oh, I know him from Tinder.
Cool story, bro.
So now it's like...
Oh, so you know him.
Yeah, instead of knowing
Y'all
people...
are besties now.
Instead of knowing people from work or church or Facebook, it's now Tinder.
Or school or literally any other social setting ever.
It's now Tinder.
I know that guy from Tinder.
Yeah.
He's so nice.
He's so nice. He swiped right on me and I swiped right on him.
Dude, it's totally like another place too for Provo All-Stars and Disney princesses to just...
Ego feed.
To just link up and meet each other and I don't know, whatever the trend is these days, go get some dessert, I guess.
Go get some yogurt, like at Yogurtland.
Ooh.
Interesting story about that. So this is way funny. There's an article called Yogurtland, How a Tinder Experiment Lured 70 Guys to a Froyo Shop in Search of a Dream Girl. This is by
my gosh.
Bianca Busker, I think is how it says.
That's so good.
And so here's the basics of it. 3 BYU kids, they set up a social experiment, see how many guys they could get, that they to basically a Froyo shop. Quote they said was, "We were looking at it the other night and wondered how many guys would actually randomly meet with someone they've never talked to in real life or anything." And this is by Bowman Bagley, one of the people who did this. A junior who organized the Tinder test. Ooh, Tinder test. Oh, did she pass the Tinder test? Bro, no way.
Bro, if she doesn't pass the Tinder test, that's a test you can't get by.
Yeah, and then the other 2 people, Danny Giesel and Joshua Valdez. And it's their quote here, "We weren't sure we'd be willing to do it. We didn't think many people would. And we were proven wrong." And so what this reminds me of is just like 3 Provo All-Stars sitting around, and they're like, "Bro, do you think a bunch of dudes would totally show up to a Froyo shop for a fake Tinder chick?" "Yeah, bro. Brotally." Like,
Brotally.
Like that's how I pictured this going down. Like they're sitting around in their apartment late at night after getting back from Vasa on Tinder, just swiping right on every chick that pops up.
Taking some sweaty selfies for their Tinder.
I know.
"Bro, I totally work out, bro. You girls,
this is my Tinder moment.
You should totally want to date me, ladies."
Post gym selfie with my bros.
Ew.
So anyway, these guys all set up a profile for a fictional 21 girl who they dub-named Sammy. And this is perfect because if you're like a girl in Provo in your early 20s, the world here worships you.
Yeah, you can get...
It's ridiculous. Once you hit about 25, though, it's all downhill from there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, that's when you're over the hump, so to speak.
So anyway, all these bros, they uploaded a handful of pictures taken from a teen... a Miss Teen USA.
Oh my gosh.
Kendall Fain's online profile.
How did no one reverse Google search that?
I don't know. That's the thing. I think everyone's just so desperate or just into the Tinder game.
Oh my gosh.
That it's like, hey, why not? It's like, oh, with me, I would always be like, man, a really hot chick matched up with me. Something's gotta be wrong here.
So you're not very optimistic about this?
No, I'm pretty realistic about it. Anyway, so they just started swiping right on everyone and, just liking every single person they could. And after a while, Sammy got around 250 matches.
Holy crap.
I know. And a message, and here's where you mentioned, would they be suspicious of this?
Well, it's like, how did you, how in the world, okay. I guess if you're a Provo All-Star, though, it's like, if a hot girl contacts you, it's what you expect to happen every day.
Well, they sent the same message to each person, too.
Oh, boy.
Not like a hi or a generic thing. It wasn't even robotic. It was, I'm going to yogurt shop called Yogurtland tonight at 9 in Orem with some girlfriends if you want to meet up. Wink face. This sounds like a foreigner message to you. I'm going to yogurt shop called Yogurtland.
Yeah.
It's not a yogurt shop. This is just the exact quote that I pulled from the article.
That definitely does. That sounds a little fishy.
Yeah, and so...
Definitely sounds robotic, one could say. Or, fake.
Yeah. The thing was, it didn't even sound great. But yet, around 70 people showed up. And then they erased the profile for it. And they kept receiving floods of messages that either missed the Yogurtland meetup or they wanted to see if she was free on Saturday.
For Yogurtland?
Or whatever, because they've been stood up.
Are they going to get some Froyo and Provo?
Yeah, I get Froyo and Provo. Yeah, and some guys realized, oh man, I was duped, I was catfished.
Duh.
And so a couple of them were like, whoa, what happened? Why'd you do this? And they just wrote back, social media experiment. And it's like, these bros don't exactly strike me as the type of people to do social memedia experiments or experiments, period.
Yeah, I think how did they spell experiment? Was it correct? Because
according to this, yes.
That would be interesting.
There's probably X and then periment type thing.
It was a social media experiment.
So I did a little bit of this a while ago too.
Right.
I'll mention just a brief bit about this on the show. Baron Victor von Shatamal.
Victor von
Shatamal from our People episode. Well,
back for more.
Yeah. Well, he originally actually started off as a Tinder profile. Because he is on Facebook. He's under, originally his name was Chatamal Barkley. And then eventually I upgraded to Victor von Chatamal. And then finally Baron Victor von Chatamal, his final form, I guess. Man. But anyway.
Do you have enough badges to train him anymore?
I don't. But so, anyway, I made this Facebook profile for him, and for Tinder, and you can go even look at him on Facebook. It's Victor von Chatable, and there's a picture of him with Obama, and there's like all these gangster ghetto stickers on there, and Chatable's like holding like these guns next to Obama, and like his
Victor.
Yeah, and his cover photo is of NWA.
Thug life.
Oh, man.
It's just too perfect. And
that is beautiful.
I made him as a parody account to all the girls or whatever. Because they always had pictures of them in front of Disneyland, skydiving, a picture with a celebrity, or partying. So I did that. I just took one picture of Chatamal, and I photoshopped him in front of Disneyland, photoshopped him skydiving, photoshopped him in with Obama, photoshopped him on a boat partying with people, and I took like this really close-up selfie. And so the other thing I would see with these girls is they would always have things like, I'm not a booty call, I'm not DTF, I'm going to, and then it's like insert Happy Valley School here. So it's like BYU or UVU. It's like, I don't drink, smoke, do drugs, or have fun. I'm into sport teams that aren't outside of my area that no one cares about. And it's like, follow me on Snapchat/Instagram so I get my fill of narcissism. Or I'm Mormon, or I'm not Mormon. I made Chatamals similar. It was, smoke trees, must be DTF. If you Snapchat me, send me nudes. And then hashtag 420 YOLO swag.
Oh, man.
And then I just started swiping right on every single person I saw. I didn't even read their profiles or look at their bad gym selfies. I would just swipe right. And Chatamal had tons of success. I think he had over 200 some matches.
Dang.
Like within the short time I was doing it.
Almost as much as Froyo.
Almost as much as Froyo, Sammy, girl. And so I would always message people the same thing. I would be like, yo, what up, girl? Every message. And my reactions I would get from people was either crazy reactions, trying to sext Chatamal, chicks being rude, but yet they matched with me, and a few people asking who I really was. And
but you already told them. I'm Victor von Chatamal. Baron Victor von Chatamal.
Exactly. So I would do this, and it was just like so much fun, and it was just crazy some of the encounters that I had. But that's how Tinder is here.
Yeah.
It's just a mixed bag of crazy. And I think that's the best way to describe it.
So you're saying it's a bag of mixed nuts.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm not going to lie. I've gotten a couple dates off Tinder, but obviously none of them have been successful because I'm still single. So I'd say it's just a very shallow, awful app.
Yeah,
and like the best thing about Tinder is it's a big joke around the world, but it's an even bigger joke in Happy Valley.
Oh, huge.
And that's the punchline, is that it's just so funny here because it's just such a fad, and this area is so acceptable of any fad that comes around
100%.
through the United States. Hence all the Provo All-Stars getting their haircuts like Macklemore.
And then pretending they can rap.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, I guess Macklemore also is pretending he can rap, so
it goes both ways.
Kind of plays into it pretty well.
Yeah.
But I do have a funny story about Tinder. Okay.
Oh, snap.
So I've never been a part of Tinder because it became a thing after I was already in the relationship that ended up being my marriage. So not really ever.
You never got to participate in the rat race of Tinder?
I never wanted to, but I guess it would have been made for some funny stories. But I do have...
that's about all it's made for.
Right? but check this out. This is insane. I have 2 coworkers who actually found their spouses? Spouse? Each one of them found their spouse on Tinder.
Yeah.
I kid you not.
And I know
nowhere else on the planet would that be like this thing that you...
Oddly enough, I know people that happened to here as well.
Yeah.
My old roommate, it happened with him.
That's funny.
And his wife. And here's the thing. They're both pretty well adjusted, normal people. Too.
Yeah.
And so that's what really also boggles my mind.
I don't get that because 99% of the people, it seems like, and again, I haven't really participated that much, but from what I've seen from the Victor Von Chadimal stuff and a bunch of other things that you've shown.
What a great place to pull from your day.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the Urban Dictionary, the ultimate source of knowledge.
The ultimate, at least on this show.
Yeah. But most of the people that I've heard of or that I've seen or whatever on Tinder seem to be pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But the two guys at my work that found their wives through Tinder, they're pretty well adjusted, normal guys that have actual hobbies. They're not like those guys that chill in their mom's basement till they're 35 or whatever. You know what I'm talking about, Mark. Right?
My parents live out of state. I don't even have a basement to congregate in.
No, but you know what I'm saying, though. You think of these or it's these just gigantic monsters, like that tweet talked about, and comparing it to Pokemon Go and everything. It's like, yeah, it's not a very. And I'm just wondering if
Tinder is just a direct reflection of the people of Happy Valley. There's a few normal people here.
Sure.
And then there's a bunch of crazies.
Yeah.
And then there's a stuffed animal swiping right on everyone.
Yeah, I mean, if there's
and then a fake Miss Teen USA.
If there's not a stuffed animal swiping right on everyone, then I don't think that the social experiment would have worked.
No.
And I don't think that it would be a proper representation of the demographic here in Happy Valley.
I don't know.
Unless we have Victor Von Chadimal.
Yeah. I felt he definitely made it the proper representation of Happy Valley. Anyway, that's our show today. I just want to thank Caleb for once again coming on. And until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the MCS1 show. For bi-weekly episodes on society, counterculture, and pretty much everything but politics and sports, subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, or SoundCloud. For regular updates, head to the MCS1show.com or search the MCS1 show on any social media platform.